صباح الخير مشاهدينا وين ما كنتوا عم بترافقونا اليوم على شاشة او تي في. أنا جوال مثل كل مرة برحب فيكم، بتمنى لكم نهار حلو ما يحملكم على طول إلا الأخبار السارة والشيقة. بيسعدني من امباسادورز كورنر رحب بسعادة سفيرة سويسرلاند بهالمناسبة الحلوة السيدة ماريون فايشلت. Guten Morgen, Excellency.
Guten Morgen, Joel.
First, thank you for being my guest. It's really my great honor and pleasure, especially hosting you from OTV platform in Ambassador's Corner. As we always engage with ambassadors, we host ambassadors in order to take us, if I'm allowed to say it, in a virtual trip to their countries. Switzerland is very beautiful. And especially, I would say it's a landmark for coexistence, unity, a big basket and pool for this sharing for cultural identity, patrimony, and especially it has four official languages. Can we elaborate on this? And how can you preserve as a country, really, chapeau bas, for this coexistence among its citizens and within its system?
Yeah, thanks. Yes, Switzerland is indeed there is no uniform culture, there is no national language. We have four languages, German, French, Italian and Romansh, and there is a multitude of different cultures in that country. And what keeps us together, I would say it's shared history, but then also our political system that really helps keeping us together. It's federalism, it's a system of direct democracy, and also, I would say, yeah, shared values. We very much believe in our diversity. We see it as an asset. And I would also say that Switzerland is a country of minorities. Now, what do I mean with that? German is the language that is most widely spoken. About 70% of the Swiss speak German.
Sehr schön. Sehr schön.
Ist das schön? Das weiß ich nicht. So clearly, if you look on a national level, German is a majority language. But then if you zoom in, if you go, for example, to the Canton Valais, it's a bilingual canton. But the majority there speaks French, and it's the minority that speaks German. Now, who is majority? Who is minority? The German speakers. They are a minority in the Valais, but they're a majority all over Switzerland.
And the French speakers, it depends.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
So who is a minority? And then the picture, I would say, it becomes even more complicated if we add like religion or, because it doesn't correspond, like linguistic borders don't correspond to religious borders, don't correspond to political borders.
Perfectly said.
So it's an overlap. And I think this overlap of minorities makes in the end the balance. So everybody is somewhat minority and majority, and our system caters to balance it out.
Adding to this balance, I would say, or I would move to the other question, talking about the system of canton that is perfectly decentralized, and you have the effective governance. What can you tell us more, Excellency, about it?
Yeah, it's a system, it's a federal system, it's very much a bottom-up system. We very much believe that local problems should have local solutions. What works really well in the biggest city, Zurich, might not work in a small rural alpine community. And so we very much believe in that system of federalism, which allows the state, the government, to be very close to its citizens.
A scale-based system, we could say so. It depends on the scale. Is it the bigger or the smaller one?
It's finding the appropriate answer for a certain community. And we talked about this this diversity. So finding the right answers to the challenges that everybody has, and that might be different to where it is. And
Sure.
Federalism allows this closeness to the citizens.
For some states and countries navigating complex order situations and turmoils, I would not name which countries, just in general, how can we, or to such countries, how could they be inspired by your Swiss political system that I would say personally, it's a very good system?
Well, I think so too, that it's a very good system for Switzerland. But each country has to find its own way. Each country has its own history, has its own challenges. At the same time, as I do think you can find inspiration in other models, just like my country also did.
And switching back to history, sorry for interruption, Excellency, let's go back to the wars, how you came with a very good solution. Tell us more about the Civil War in the 19th century.
Yes,
Please.
there was indeed. Switzerland had its civil war. Cannot really compare it in the size to the Lebanese one, but it was clearly a civil war. It was liberal, progressive forces against more conservative Catholic forces. And the liberal, progressive forces, they won. And I think what they did at the time, that laid the foundation to the success model that we have today, because they reached out to the losers. They made a place at the table for the ones who lost the civil war. And
amazing, wow.
I really think that that is what makes Switzerland, that it's inclusive. There was a place also for the ones who lost the war.
And the par excellence political system based mostly on what?
It's a political system, federalism we already talked about. And then I would say there's the other big part, which is the system of direct democracy. Direct democracy, that means, obviously in Switzerland, like you in Lebanon too, we elect our parliament. But it goes beyond. I always joke a little bit in the sense that we Swiss citizens, we are part-time parliamentarians. Because if we think that parliament is not doing a good job with a law, we don't like that, we can bring that law down via a referendum. Or if we think they're dragging their feet, they're not doing their job, we as Swiss citizens, we can propose a law.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to say of political participation. And I think these are the two pillars on which Switzerland's foundation, federalism and direct democracy.
Switzerland has been always engaged with Lebanon on the cultural aspect or side. Today, we know that Beirut has a very vibrant scene and a beautiful scene, if I'm going to say it to the least. How is Switzerland, or how Switzerland remains to be a cultural partner, or to partner always with Lebanon on this level, please?
First of all, it's wonderful to work in the cultural sphere in Lebanon because, as you said, it's an incredibly vibrant cultural scene in Lebanon, in particular also in Beirut. We have basically like three ways to work with. One is collaboration on an annual level. Like, for example, there are many festivals, like currently there's Beirut Chants going on, classical concerts. There is the Beirut Arts Film Festival. There is the Cabriolet Film Festival. There is the Bipod Dance Festival. There's the European Festival. There are many, many, many festivals.
A mosaic of festivals, different festivals.
And this is something that we would contribute to on an annual basis. It's a continuity to the cultural sector. But then there is also one-off collaboration. And here maybe if I give an example, you all know the Palais-sur-Sarthe was heavily impacted by the port blast. And there is a project with Swiss expertise restoring the decorative elements of the Palais-sur-Sarthe. Or we work with the Agenda Culturel, contributed to a special guide on Tripoli, or the Beirut Cultural Map, things like that. And this we can do thanks to a cultural fund, which is alimented by Swiss companies and Swiss citizens, carefully vetted, I must say.
So basically, we can say that those cultural initiatives that you best have in your agenda are supporting Lebanon directly and indirectly, some other flagship projects. What can you tell us more, Excellency?
Yeah, so we are quite active in the sense, like 2011, it was the war in Syria that broke out. We have a regional program. And this regional program is at the center, is the Syria crisis, but it covers also neighboring countries such as Lebanon. We work in 4 domains: water, education, protection, meaning protection of the rights of children, protection of the rights of migrants, protection of the rights of refugees.
Protection of the environment.
No.
Again? No, you don't work environment.
No, it's protection of the rights of people.
Only for the rights,
and
yes.
Maybe if you allow me to finish like the fourth pillar, because this one is very dear to me, this is peace and conflict prevention. Yes. And it's a program about $75 million per year, and it makes Switzerland as one of the top 10 donors in Lebanon.
Mm-hmm. Tell us more, Excellency, how do you perceive, or how is cultural diplomacy today working towards strengthening more the relationship between Switzerland and Lebanon, and in terms of navigating such complex order situations here?
I always try, when we do cultural projects, for me it's very important that there is, I would call it a dialogue, that there is an exchange of culture. It's not kind of like, you know, to bring a Swiss and have a concert and that's it. I would always like to have some sort of a dialogue, because then I believe both countries, in a positive way, absolutely.
No, so puzzling, I said, puzzling dialogue, positive puzzling dialogue.
Yes, absolutely, yes, absolutely. And I very much believe in this, and this is how we try to construct our collaboration in the cultural sector. And especially the collaboration is not on the cultural level. I would say that Lebanon has been turmoiled by Beirut blast, by the economic crisis, we had the COVID, and we still have some other crises that are on the table. How, because Switzerland with its highly skyrocketing political system, how today and to what extent Switzerland is proud and it's enhancing on its pride when it comes to collaborating with a country that is open for dialogue, communication, and especially the support of other nations? Yeah, as I mentioned before, we work in these four pillars, and this one pillar, peace and conflict prevention, there's basically three kinds. One is promoting political dialogue. And here, as an example, there's many different initiatives. And we brought together women politicians from very different walks of life that would not have talked to each other in the beginning. And it was, frankly, it was touching to see they went, in the end, they went together to Switzerland, they did a trip to Switzerland, looked at Swiss institutions and how they respected each other's having very different political views. So this is one example. Or then also, I mean, you mentioned it, Lebanon has a very difficult past, and we believe it's important to look at this past, and we support the Commission of the Missing Persons and the Forcefully Disappeared, or the Historian Commission. It is well known, history is taught up to a certain extent in Lebanese school, but not the recent history. And this Historian Commission, with the support of Switzerland, is working on a history curriculum together with the Ministry of Education. Excellency, do you have supporting programs for refugees? Yes, you know, the reason why we are with such large amounts of money in the end in Lebanon is the Syrian crisis. When all the refugees came to Lebanon, in the sense also of a burden sharing, because Lebanon had really open doors, welcomed these refugees, but obviously enormous numbers. Lebanon needs help in coping with that. And there are numerous programs, but they're not, and I would like to insist on that, they're not geared to Syrian refugees, they're geared to the most vulnerable ones. And very often Syrian refugees are the most vulnerable, but it also means vulnerable Lebanese, vulnerable Bangladeshi, vulnerable whoever. This is not how we work according to citizenship. And safeguarding the dignity of those people, of us, of all of us. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah. Well, going to emergency conditions, you remain, Switzerland, a major, important stakeholder in supporting the population, or supporting all people in emergency situations. Tell us more in general. I can give you a few examples. So for example, we work with the Bekaa water establishment and the Lebanese Red Cross. And the idea is really to, that the residents in the Bekaa, again, whoever these residents are, that the residents in the Bekaa, that they have access to clean and safe water. And what we did, or what we do, we continue doing that, is rehabilitating water pumping stations, solarizing water pumping stations. But I would say it goes much beyond that. This is also what others do. What we did, it was a digitalization of the whole water system. That means that the Bekaa water establishment can actually see kind of like who consumes how much water, can make the consumers pay,
Wow.
and with the money that they have, reinvest in keeping the infrastructure going. And I think that was also, this digitalization was particularly important during the war, where the Bekaa water establishment, they couldn't go everywhere because, you know, it was shelling, but because it was digitalized, they were able to see, oh, the water station there has this and that problem. They could tell people that were there to fix it, and they didn't have to travel.
How long did it take, this process of finalizing the project?
Oh, it started many years ago. It's more than 10 years ago. It's
amazing.
Yeah.
And any other initiative or project for rural areas to be established now or to be done? Do you have any future initiatives in the coming, let's say, years?
This is continuing, and in the work with the Bekaa water establishment, there's still a lot of work to do.
Is Switzerland, through its embassy here in Lebanon, doing any exchange of education for our community in terms of sending our group to Switzerland in order to learn through the embassy, or these are private programs?
There are excellency, it's called excellency scholarships. That means it's for students that already have a master degree. And why are they called excellence? Because this is for the top students. And it's highly competitive, and sometimes there's Lebanese who get such a scholarship. Apart from that, there is a lot of cooperation, I would call it on a decentralized level, maybe from one canton, maybe from one community, with a community here in Lebanon, that the embassy would not be aware of.
Yes.
Sometimes I hear about it, and I'm always happy to know that that was a Swiss initiative. For example, there's the city of Zurich working with the city of Tyr.
Okay.
And yeah.
Great. You supported le centenaire de Lorient le Jour. Switzerland supported le centenaire. Tell us more. I'm curious to know, Excellency.
Yeah, that was the centenary of Lorient le Jour, and we decided to support that. And why did we do that? We did that basically for two reasons. We very much and deeply believe in a free media, in a free press, in an independent media sector, and I think the Lorient le Jour really stands for that. We believe this is essential for a democracy to work. It's essential for the well-being of a whole society to have a free and independent media. And then obviously Lorient le Jour is a francophone media outlet. Switzerland being a French-speaking country, there is the connection. This is why we decided to support this centenary.
So basically conveying the message of supporting media and culture through some a newspaper, or how do you are you doing these days to collaborate with other media platforms and just enhancing the message of Switzerland to Lebanon? Do you have any other media platform, or specifically the media platform of the embassy?
It was Lorient le Jour had its centenary, and I think it is it's well known that Lorient le Jour is an independent media outlet, and this is why we worked with Lorient le Jour. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't do that with a platform that is managed by a political party. We couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But things similar to Lorient le Jour, we always open of doing that. As I said, we very much believe in a free, the independent media sector.
Looking at the future, how do you perceive, or how do you see today Switzerland supporting Lebanese or the Lebanese institutions, cultural heritage, patrimony, enhancing its identity? How do you perceive these things or matters, Excellency?
This is also a sector that we work in. I did mention the Palais Swiss-Lebanese, and maybe I'd like to add here too, this is a privately owned palais, but we work with them because the palace will be open to the public and for an engagement with the artistic sector. But cultural heritage, it goes beyond the Palais Swiss-Lebanese. For example, we finance the film library of the Metropolis Cinema, and there's many other projects. This is something that is dear to us, that we find worthwhile being invested. You have Lebanon has so much to offer.
Going from stretching back to history and to the beautiful relation between Switzerland and Lebanon, our relation is really good, and thank you for Switzerland for all the support that is giving to Lebanon. In the coming days or future yet to be, how do you perceive this relationship should be maintained, or to say the least, to continue to be sustainable?
We will certainly remain engaged in the sectors that said. If you speak about the cultural sector, there's always a lot of interesting projects coming. We will certainly do that and continue to remain engaged in all the different sectors. I don't know whether your question goes beyond the cultural sector or...
specifically the cultural sector, or if any other sector yet to be in the loop or in the area.
It's the culture sector, but we remain engaged in education, we remain engaged in water, we remain engaged in the peace and conflict pillar, and as well in the protection pillar.
Thank you for all the efforts, Excellency, and allow me to send my very heartfelt and warm regards to Switzerland from this OTV platform. Thank you for everything. Before you deliver or you convey your message by the end of our interview to our dear audience, I have a question. Have you ever had domestic tourism in Lebanon, and what do you like the most about our country?
I saw a lot of your country, I would say. I love traveling your country. As a Swiss, I'm a very keen hiker. Okay. So I love to go to the mountains.
Well, you have the very beautiful mountains in Switzerland.
We do, but I very much like hiking in Lebanon. And to say what is the most beautiful, I don't think I can say that. There's so many beautiful... It's a tiny country, but it has so much to offer. I also like the beach, by the way. But
yes. You are welcome. We are proud to have an ambassador like you, Madame Marion, here in Lebanon. Thank you for everything. And thank you for all the endeavors and efforts that you are really deploying, exerting along with your team to make Lebanon more beautiful. Your message to our dear audience, what you like to convey, or what is the message that you would like to convey to Lebanon?
Maybe not the message, but the wish. And the wish would be that Lebanon one day becomes as proud as it should be, in my opinion, of its cultural and diversity as the Swiss citizens are.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Until we meet again, Madame Marion, I wish you the best in your diplomatic mission here in Lebanon until we host you again in our platforms.
Many thanks for the interview, Joël.
Thank you. Danke schön. مشاهدينا فاصل صغير وبنرجع لكم.